Hey family, hold on, let me adjust this. How are you guys? Hold on. Okay. This was a last minute decision to do this live. You guys know that on Mondays, I usually do lives with Carlos King at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. However, with Love Island about to kick off very shortly. Oh, I'm so hot. Where's my little fan? Sorry, guys. I've been running around all day. I've been working since 6 a.m., so I am tired. The reason why we were about 60 seconds late, even though I said we were going to be on time, is because I had to shove a boiled egg in my mouth because I haven't eaten anything all day. I needed some protein. So yes, usually I do Carlos King at 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 o'clock Eastern. I'm going to continue doing that. And, shout out to the Blue Crew. Love Island is coming up, and so I want to get into the muscle of doing Monday quickies. Oh, my hair is looking all over the place. Y'all, I literally just came out the shower and finished drying my hair, so it's still a little wet. Lord. And I can't believe that we're doing this quickie about Dr. Cheyenne Bryant. I told myself I was not going to talk about this lady, but the story just continues to be a teachable moment that I have not seen in quite a while, which honestly is the only reason I'm covering it. By the way, guys, I'm not covering this. Hold on. My little thingy is not stable. If I'm not stable, this live's not going to be stable. Here we go. All right. So the reason I'm doing this, you guys know, I am not an ambulance chaser. I'm not doing this just because it's viral. I'm doing this because I think there's value in the conversation that we can have around what we're witnessing in real time as far as Dr. Bryant. Also, too, I like the idea of us doing Monday quickies. That's going to be our new thing. Shout out to the Monday Quickie crew. So on Mondays, we're going to be having quickies from about maybe 2:30 or 2:15 to about 3:45 when I have to log off to join Carlos. So I think this is the perfect thing for a Monday quickie. Hold on. Is the fan? I need the fan to do its job, honey, because mother is... Imagine sitting here with full makeup and wet hair. So I need... This is not hot flashes. This is just, I'm diffusing my hair on camera, y'all. This is how much this is last minute. So we're going to get right into it. Why did I feel like this was a good teachable moment? P.S. The show is sponsored by ADHD, so you know I have to have an ADHD moment. Remember when we were little kids and we were talking to the fan? Hello. That doesn't work anymore. Hello. Man, the kids don't know what they're missing out on. Somebody said Monday quickies is crazy. It's on brand for me, isn't it, though? I want you guys to get used to our Monday quickies. What's up? So I was stunned when I last night saw the clip of Amanda Seales coming to Dr. Bryant's defense. And I said, ain't no way. Amanda and I don't always agree on everything, but she's a very brilliant woman. And I always say that brilliance and integrity are not always friends. Brilliance and consistency are not always friends. Brilliance and emotional intelligence are not always friends. And I will always acknowledge brilliance where I see it, right? Amanda Seales is brilliant, full stop. And she has some views that tend to feel like she moves the goalpost in ways that stun me because I associate her brilliance with being a little bit more intellectually consistent. I was stunned when I watched a clip of Amanda Seales not only caping for... How pretty is this fan, though? It's gold. This is kind of cute. I could put it on my lapel. Sorry, I feel like I'm doing QVC. Not only was I stunned that she was defending Dr. Bryant, I was also further taken aback when she invoked the name of Maya Angelou. I almost said Maya fucking Angelou because she's a big deal. Amanda, I know you have me blocked on Instagram because I did that video where I talked about being autistic doesn't mean that you need to be allergic to accountability because I'm autistic and I still say sorry. I know you blocked me because of that video, even though I stand behind that point and I will die on that hill. You can be autistic and apologize. Just saying. So you have me blocked on Instagram. But if you happen to see this, girl, I respect you too much. Girl, you invoke the name of Dr. Maya Angelou, honey. It's like the doctor out. You invoke the name of Dr. Maya Angelou? I can't even not saying it because the troll in me wants to keep on calling her Dr. Maya Angelou just to be an asshole. Baby, and here's the thing. I'm going to say something that I didn't think I was going to say because this is the kind of point that gets made by low-level thinkers who have lazy logic in comment sections who have no range. So I'm always remiss when I have to echo a sentiment of someone who is lazy and has no range. However, a broken clock is right twice a day. Baby, you keep on slipping in to your rhetoric that you think the reason people have an issue with you is not because you're insufferable, self-indulgent, and allergic to accountability, but that it's because you're light-skinned and cute. And I can't but help but think, all those times that I intellectually wince at you diminishing everything, every valid critique you ever received to people just hating light-skinned women, I'm wondering if that's why you found yourself doing these mental gymnastics to, in one breath, say what she did was wrong, but in the next breath, defend her and mention Maya Angelou. Is Dr. Bryant who you think you are? Like, the way that her pretty privilege is working for her, is that what you were trying to make fetch happen? And we were like, no, baby, you cute and all, but we see you as the smart one. Ooh, bon Dieu. Okay. Sorry. Let me let my hair dry and play the video, child, because this is a quickie. Quickie means we got like 75 minutes, okay? For those of you who are the 40% who come in here, by the way, hi, let me do the intro. Hi, my name is Blue Toulouse. I'm a writer, producer, content creator, emotional intelligence coach, and all-around bad bitch who specializes in using pop culture and politics as a launch pad to talk about why emotional intelligence is universally necessary for all parties involved. Right? Emotional intelligence is a necessity for everybody. And there's no better realm than pop culture to show in real time how necessary it is, right? So we do here what we call edutainment. We don't just talk to be talking. There's plenty of other channels to do that. If you want to kiki and spill tea, there are plenty of tea channels. I don't need to buy me a teapot, right? Although I have a cute one in my house. It has a little heart on it. It's very cute. We're here to elevate. And I am dismayed and stunned that a mind as brilliant as Amanda Seals could get it so wrong about something so simple. Let's see.
Why are you all so obsessed about Cheyenne Bryant? I'm beginning to think that this is a bot thing. Why are you so obsessed about this? Like, okay, she lied. I can see if she lied and like harmed people.
Pause. I can see if she lied and harmed people. You don't think someone lying about being a mental health professional during the biggest mental health crisis of our lived lives? Of our lives, okay? This life that I'm living right now, we are in perhaps, if not, actually not perhaps, fuck it, it's a fact at this point. They've done studies. We are in probably one of the most gargantuan mental health crises of modern history. And you don't think that while the world is burning and our minds are collapsing, that someone lying about being a mental health doctor is harmful. Let me tell you how much cognitive dissonance I have about Amanda being this much of a fucking donkey. Because again, I don't have to agree with her to think she's smart. And this is some stupid. This is stupid. I've never in my life called Amanda Seals stupid. Never. Never. This is stupid. I checked 4 different sources to make sure this was an AI. Now, if there's another AI video in here, I was too busy checking Amanda's video, so it might have slipped through my clutches. I spent the majority of my research time trying to disprove this clip because my brain could not conceive that on her worst day, she would think someone lying about being a medical doctor in mental health during every type of mental pandemic you can think of happening concurrently was non-harmful. And yet here we are.
But she was on my podcast and she was brilliant.
Oh, so because she was on your podcast and you liked her because she knew how to stroke your ego, because People who are narcissistic, I'm not diagnosing, I'm naming a trait. You put the IC, it's not a diagnosis. Fun fact. People who are narcissistic often know how to stroke other narcissistic people. And so because she stroked you correctly, and you identified her as a fellow pretty light-skinned girl who gets hated on just for being pretty and light-skinned, you think she's non-harmful. Somebody said, Amanda, is you cool? That is... We got so much more video to play. I think you're watching me re-experience this. Like, I didn't expect our Monday to start off like this. I had a very cute, chill Memorial Day weekend, and then here comes Amanda. And by the way, Amanda, who are your friends? I'm being sincere. Like, I'm not even trying to be a mean girl right now. I want to know, I know you have a lot of male friends, right? I know that you're friends with Charlamagne the God, Mark Lamont Hill. I have James Bland, my friend John Lee. I know a lot of people personally who I adore as men who are your friends. Who are your girlfriends? I'm going to ask Amanda Seales this. Do you have any strong relationships with women who you consider your intellectual equals, who can hold you accountable without there being any sort of tension? I am now wondering that. Because funny enough, you just revealed yourself, because like Cheyenne Bryant has female friends who are used to being attacked. And because they're used to being attacked for being pretty, they immediately have her back from a place of kinship. I understand that. I understand why someone like Claudia Jordan, my co-host, would be cool with her, because Claudia knows what it's like to be a brilliant, beautiful woman to be hated on with lies. And Claudia is very, very loyal. And I completely understand why she has her back as a loyal friend, right? I've been that loyal friend who years later had to be like, oop, I might have picked the wrong team, but the integrity of my friendship means I don't regret having your back until I knew better, right? So I understand that Claudia being your friend. But for Amanda, I think Amanda might fall into the second category of people who are friends with people like Cheyenne Bryant, of women who have a similar grift and or blind spots, and so it becomes Spider-Man. That is the only way. That's the only way that intellectually, as brilliant as you are, you said this dumb shit on social media. That's the only way. And by the way, this might not look like it because I speak very passionately. This is me trying to show Amanda Seales grace. This is me still not wanting to admit that she's malicious and she's a grifter who's covering for another grifter. I'm trying to think, maybe y'all have similar blind spots. That's the nicest way I could conceptualize that you said this bullshit. But let's continue.
I think it's fucked up that she lied.
Okay. So you admit it's fucked up that she lied, even though you can't admit that lying about being a doctor during mental health crisis is harmful. So you and Logic are doing double dutch. Okay, you're trying. I'm listening.
You know, and then that's that. The need to, if y'all went this hard against like Kamala Harris.
There we have it. If y'all went this hard, for those of you who are new here, just haven't seen every single minute of my content, I did a live several months ago. I don't talk about Amanda Seales often. And in that live, I said that Amanda Seales has shown to me at this point, this is an opinion, not a fact, because I know the difference. It is my opinion that even though politically she can't stand Barack and Kamala because, you know, radical people who are super radical can't stand them, right? So there's moderate radicals and then there's radical radicals. And a lot of my radical friends who are third party can't stand Kamala and Barack Obama. With Amanda, though, the way she focused on Kamala Harris instead of Donald Trump when Donald Trump had already won and was the one actively causing harm, I said, now, baby, this is not about the election no more. He president. Why are you talking about the candidate who lost while the one who won is the one who's putting shit on the walls, like just smearing poo on the walls? The fact that she in 2026 still gets sexually aroused talking about Kamala Harris and Barack Obama as if they were president and vice president currently, and has as much ire for them as people who are sitting down as the nigga who's sitting in office fucking things up. I was like, oh, this is not about logical being radical no more. Something's off. And then it hit me. They get the kind of approval as shiny light skins that she doesn't have, and she resents them. I've always said there's very few people in this world who resent me more than other women who look like me and who talk like me. Because it's almost like if I get favor in a way that they didn't get, if they have a lack mindset, they think that me having favor is why they don't have favor. They don't recognize that we have our own fucking paths to traverse despite being the same archetype. Amanda has a special kind of ire for liberal light skins who are beloved by the same community that she claims to be shunned by. That is my personal opinion, not a fact. Yes? So the fact that we're talking about Cheyenne Bryant and 37 seconds in, you find a way to bring up Kamala Harris. Baby, how we get here so fast? Never once in talking about Cheyenne Bryant have I ever wondered, yeah, see, that's why I don't fuck with Kamala Harris. Never once. You guys, do I have any fruit in my teeth? Because I was eating fruit before. Listen. Okay. Never once in me thinking about Cheyenne Bryant. And I have ADHD. My brain, if you see me fluffing my hair, it's because it's still wet. So I'm trying to make sure that it doesn't dry limp. For those of you who don't know about diffusing hair, child, you got to dry it up so that it doesn't, drag your face down. So I apologize right now. Oh, this color is so cute on me. You guys were right about the ginger, y'all. Y'all were right about the ginger. I was trying to go blonde this summer, but y'all talked me out of it. So for you to get to Kamala Harris this quick, not only am I feeling like your blind spots are very loud, I'm also feeling like you haven't evolved since the last time I saw you on social media, because I don't see her on social media much. There's nothing worse than you going ill. I don't enjoy this. I'm gonna divest my energies from this. And you leave somebody because they're on some weird shit, and then months and months later, you come back and they're exactly where you left them. I am stunned by the lack of Amanda Seales' evolution right now. I'm stunned by her lack of evolution.
For supporting a genocide, then what would that would matter to me? There's no match. I don't need to have some type of debate with Cheyenne Bryant. At the end of the day, for some reason, she felt like she needed to lie about credentials.
At the end of the day, for some reason, she felt like she needed to lie about credentials. Okay, and at the end of the day, someone felt like they needed to rob your house. How is that a point? Uh-huh. Usually when someone says at the end of the day, they're about to put a bow on something. I think your bow is loose. At the end of the day, I felt like robbing you. And so that's that. That's it. Baby, what are you saying? You sound like you wrote the foreword to Dr. Cheyenne's book, because y'all know I tried to read the first paragraph and thought I was having an aneurysm because it was like Dr. Seuss had gotten drunk on fucking psychedelics. I'm starting to see the resemblance. Amanda, I really wish you hadn't done this, because we weren't clocking how much you have in common with Dr. Bryant until you did this shit.
I don't know why. Mm-hmm. I think part of the reason is because we live in a world where we act like credentials is what determines somebody's effectiveness.
Now, let me say this. I will be fair, because this is not about a dog pile. This is an intellectual discourse, right? I am someone who is an emotional intelligence coach. There's no degree for that. I know I mentioned that I learned about emotional intelligence at a job that I had at the Harvard School of Public Health. Yes, I worked at Harvard. I learned about this at Harvard. I did not go to Harvard for this as a schooling technique, though. I was an employee of Harvard, right? Big difference. Unlike Cheyenne Bryant, I don't need to lie about my credentials, right? There are some ways in this world that you could be heavily influential where no credentials exist. I agree. There are ways to be incredibly effective in a field, in a lane, in a role where there's no credential. It's either on you or it's not. You're either anointed with this calling, you either have this effectiveness or you don't, and there's no classroom you can be in that can teach that to you. I agree. Being a therapist is not one of them. That's not where this applies. Being a doctor is not one of them. I feel like I'm in the upside down. I honestly feel like I'm in the upside down. I honestly, sincerely, with all our disagreements, never thought I would see the day where I would look at Amanda Seales like she's a little bit stupid. This is actually stunning to me right now.
across the board. And in some respects, it is absolutely necessary. And in her respect, it actually wasn't necessary for her.
Wait, in some, so she's saying in some respects it's necessary to have schooling, but in her respect it isn't. The respect of being a doctor? You know, when people put their cords behind the TV and they don't have one of those cord organizers, so the cords get all jumbled up and it's just a big old ball. And now every time you tug on the cord to loosen it, it tightens it somewhere else. And now you have a big old messy knot. I feel like Amanda is creating a knot of logic. She keeps on saying things that don't make sense, but then pulling on the string and saying things that do make sense. And the bullshit's just turning into a fucking balloon knot. Y'all going out bad.
Her to do the work that she does. That being said, I just don't care.
Okay.
I don't care.
If you don't care, then why are you making the video? Y'all don't understand how many times y'all made me do videos I don't care about. And I tell you I'm doing the video because y'all made me. And I at least do research, because if I'm going to be apathetic about something and recognize that objectively there is some value in me listening to requests to do it anyways, there's a little bit more research. But to say you don't care, do no research, say blatantly dumb shit that doesn't make no fucking sense, then say a couple of things that do make sense, and then reiterate you don't care. Why didn't you take a nap? It's a 3-day holiday. You're self-employed. You don't have to do this. I don't understand.
She was on my podcast and she was incredible. I don't care.
She was on my podcast and she was incredible. I don't care. For someone who doesn't believe in capitalism, Amanda, you and the bottom dollar seem to be tongue kissing on this one. So because she was good for your bottom dollar, you know what I just had a feeling right now? What if Amanda Seales is doing what Melissa Ford does? Whenever Melissa Ford sees a moment, and Melissa Ford is my former podcast co-host. You guys know the story. If you haven't, it's on my in the members only area, what happened between us. But whenever something happens that's influential, Melissa Ford will go through the crates and post a clip to remind you that she interviewed that influential person so that you can watch that clip back. When Malcolm Jamal Warner died, she got a lot of backlash because people thought it was tacky that she made it a point to be like, I'm the one who did the last interview with Malcolm Jamal Warner before he died. Now, I'm on the fence about that because I work in digital media. It is good marketing if someone passes away who's a legend to show a clip from you doing their last episode when they were alive. That actually makes sense. I am going to be fair to Melissa. That was good marketing, even though it was also arguably tacky as marketing. Both can coexist, yes. I'm starting to wonder, is Amanda's entire point to get us to realize that her and Dr. Bryant did an interview so we could go find that episode of her podcast? Amanda, for someone who doesn't believe in capitalism and who thinks that we're all just bots who are glamored by optics, is this like a lazy way for you to get some more revenue, ad revenue on that episode you did with Dr. Bryant? Because nobody talked about you and Dr. Bryant doing a show together. We're all finding out that you did an episode with Dr. Bryant by you doing this. It is giving broke. I don't like to count people's wallets. I've been rich. I've been broke. I've been confused, somewhere in between. Okay? What goes up must come down. That's why I have a high yield savings account. Yes? So I'm not the kind of person who enjoys disparaging people for being broke, because I feel like money is very fleeting. It comes and it goes, and you have to have a good relationship with yourself, even when it's not around. And however, this is giving broke. This given that Q1 wasn't that great to you and you're trying to make the best of Q2. And as somebody who eats edibles, you might be getting, let me not. Amanda looked like she smoked her a good old something, ate her a cute little edible and said, fuck it. Y'all talking about Dr. Bryant? I talked to Dr. Bryant. Let me get me some more clicks. I'm not mad at it. I'm just wincing at it. Okay? I'm not mad, just wincing. Not judging, just perceiving. Yes? Oh, shit. People are going out bad.
I think it sucks, and I think it was not smart, and I think that at the end of the day, there are people who work really hard to get doctorates. Yes. There are also people who call themselves doctor when they get an honorary doctorate, and I don't think that's much different.
Huh? Wait. What do you mean you don't think it's different? It's very different. It's apples and tires. What do you mean it's not different? It's very different.
I don't think it's much different. Maya Angelou was walking around calling herself Dr. Maya Angelou. She didn't complete a doctorate.
Bitch, okay. I know I've already seen this clip, but now I have fresh rage. I know there's no way in fucking hell that you just compare Dr. Cheyenne Bryant to Maya Angelou. Amanda Seales, you are one of the most brilliant minds of our generation. I'm not glazing you. I'm being honest that I think you are absolutely brilliant. This is easily the dumbest shit that I've seen you say in a very long time. And I think it might also be a recession indicator. Amanda Seales telling people that lying about being a therapist during the greatest mental health decline of our generation is not harmful. And then flippantly saying, well, she was on my show. Go watch it. She was on my show and she was brilliant, so I don't care. And if Dr. Maya Angelou could be a doctor, why can't Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? Baby, this is a recession indicator. Okay? The tax man is knocking on your door. You know what, baby? You know what? Because I understand what it's like to need money. If this is how you got to pay your mortgage, I almost feel like I should let you have this. I cannot take, this is satire. This feels like someone who hates Amanda Seales is cosplaying as Amanda Seales via deepfake. You're too brilliant for this bullshit, Amanda. Ooh, child. Let me take a sip of something. We just started and I'm already getting pissed. The intellectual dishonesty in this live, in this clip, is stunning to me. It's absolutely stunning. Wow.
Some university gave her a doctorate. Which university was it? Was it Spelman? I think it was Spelman. It's like faux rage to be like all up in arms about this one person.
One person who's on a tour and being heavily platformed to millions and giving harmful advice that centers the male gaze while weaponizing therapy speak that she's misusing under the guise of being a licensed professional until she was caught. You think that's full rage? Oh, baby. Meanwhile, okay. So Dr. Bryant lying about being a doctor is full rage, but you crying outside of an industry party that you were told you were not allowed to come into and knew you were not invited to, and spending weeks in the news cycle crying about not going to a party you were not invited to, that's not full rage. You can weep that your castmates found you insufferable and didn't invite you to a party, and when you showed up and did not respect that boundary, they meant that shit and still didn't let you in. You can weep about that, and that's real rage. But someone causing harm as a public figure while the world is burning is full rage. Got it, Amanda. You got it, baby. You and Logic have clearly been divorced from each other, okay? And you've lost me in the separation. Because what the fuck?
Not necessarily. We got a whole lot of folks claiming to be things, but.
So we're going to now talk about the truth as opposed to what the fuck Amanda just said. And we're going to talk about there are people now coming forward who were former clients of Dr. Bryant who talk about the harm that she caused them. Oh no, look, harm. It's almost like being a doctor but not being a doctor and charging people $300 to not be a doctor and saying wild shit as a non-doctor could be harmful if they're suicidal or in a place of emotional duress. It's almost if you shouldn't lie about being a therapist because it could cause harm. Look at that. Crazy how that works, right?
When you are charging people and you have folks in very listen, mental health is a huge thing in the Black community, right? We have so many people dealing with so many past traumas, just struggling to make it, just struggling to be present. You don't need nobody playing in your face or in your head. But there was a girl here in Dallas that apparently paid for one of Cheyenne's sessions. And she said that she felt more traumatized afterwards than when she went into it.
You hear that? Her patients, Dr. Bryant's patients, are now coming forward and saying there's a level of care that a licensed professional is trained to have, and that the licensing boards hold them accountable to, that because Dr. Bryant wasn't licensed and has no board to be held accountable to, the care was not there and damage was caused. You guys, I'm going to say this in a way that I hope it's going to be more tactful than how I want to say it. Stop being in community with people who do not want to be held accountable. Community dictates accountability. For you to be a part of a community, there has to be a system of checks and balances, because that's the whole fucking point of community. Words mean things. Community is supposed to be a system of resource sharing, checks and balances, and growing together. There's an African proverb that goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Yes? The whole fucking point of community is checks and balances. So how the hell are you saying you want to be in community with us, but can't nobody check you, boo? Now you Sheree, right? Now you spring, summer, joggers, fall, whatever, right? You are the she by Sheree of therapists. Actually, no, Sheree, you deserve more credit than that, because them joggers did come out. You had a fashion show with no fashions, but you did actually have joggers. She does not have a doctorate, a doctoral. By the way, Dr. Bryant, you can't even spell the name of your school. We're going to show clips later on in this live about how she mispronounced the degree that she lied about. You not knowing how to pronounce your own degree should have told somebody that you didn't have it, because it's written on it, yes? Then you mispronounced the name of the school. Let's continue to laugh.
Saying the way she talked to her made her feel uneasy, just a lot of anxiety, it's a lot going on. So now there are individuals starting to come forward about their experiences with Cheyenne.
So I want to make this very clear. I want to thank everybody for support, but also you have your naysayers in the background. Me speaking out is not about me trying to tear somebody down. It's not looking for a platform. I want to educate us. And it's so sad that when we speak up and talk about it.
This is one of her alleged former clients. I have to say alleged because everything has to be corroborated, and I still want to be responsible, right? I'm not going to be a hypocrite. This is an alleged former client talking about how harmed she felt and how judged she felt. By the way, guys, I will say this. Dr. Bryant allegedly caused this young woman harm because she was judgmental in a way that an actual therapist should know better, should. There are harmful licensed therapists in this world, which again is why we need checks and balances, right? The same way there's bad medical doctors, there's bad lawyers, there's bad bus drivers, right? Everybody can suck at their job. The harm that Cheyenne Bryant caused, had she been someone who was licensed, this woman would have had a clear line of recourse to have some sort of accountability and retribution. Because she's just a life coach with a trademark, right? She's a life coach with a doctor trademark. The doc squad. Shout out to y'all, I guess. This woman now has to struggle to figure out how to get justice for what she's alleging, because there is no checks and balances. I understand being remiss to champion bureaucratic red tape, especially now when our government is basically writing the Constitution on a napkin. I get it. And though, there has to be a governing board. I will say this about myself. I recently found a journal entry because I found an old journal. It's a gorgeous journal. When I find it, I'm going to show it to you guys. In this journal that I found recently, when I went back to my childhood home, there's an entry from 1998 where Blue, as a young girl, was writing about how I decided to be a therapist. Yes, it's no surprise to anybody. I originally was going to be a therapist. Years into my education, I realized I could not be a therapist because the way that I wanted to serve was not aligned with how the oath that therapists take. There were certain conversations that I wanted to have. There are certain lines that I wanted to push that I could not do as a therapist. That is why I decided to be a coach. And though, because I knew I was not going to be licensed, I had to come up with my own system of checks and balances. I had to create my own governing board, right? I've had friends audit my work. I've shown what I've done to colleagues. I've checked in with clients to make sure that I'm gauging how they're feeling properly. And when a client is in a space of duress that is beyond the scope of coaching, I recommend them to a licensed therapist. I check myself all the time. So I'm not saying you need a governing board in order to be effective. I am saying you need to pay the integrity tax if you don't have a governing board. The integrity tax means you have to create your own checks and balances if you're going to forego the ones that have already been created, right? You have to create your own system. And the one thing that Cheyenne Bryant has shown us all is, can't nobody hold her accountable. Anybody who purports to be helping other people but cannot be held accountable is harmful. That is a menace. Nobody's above reproach. You are a menace if you think, and here's the thing, guys. I've said this to so many people that I have been friends with, that have been clients of mine. I've even said it to a couple people that I've dated. If I can heal you, I can harm you. The same doctor who can create like a new lease on life by giving you a surgery that changes your life can also be the same doctor who sued for malpractice because they ruined your life. If I can heal you, I can harm you. That's why I always pay the integrity tax. That's why I'm constantly checking myself. That's why I make sure the Blue Crew and everybody who follows me knows that. I know we joke about it, but I give you guys license to be respectful while you're checking me. I always want to make sure that the muscle of being held accountable is not something that's just coming out of me, it's coming towards me. That lack of duality is why this woman is dangerous. This is no longer funny to me anymore. I was not going to talk about this topic because I thought it was messy and annoying. And I'm just going to let it go. Me and Bridget talked about it on our Patreon. I was like, okay, that's it. I'm not going to talk about it no more. But now I'm worried this woman is causing harm. Now, funny enough, as someone who worked at the Harvard School of Public Health, I'm worried this is a public health issue. She's a threat to public health. I'm going to say that on the fucking record. This is bigger than the Joe Budden podcast and Club Shay Shay and all her appearances. She is now a threat to public health. And that is something that is actually, Amanda, very worth taking seriously. Oh, I'm so offended by that lady.
Issues that are going on in our community, the people who speak up get attacked. When you suffer from PTSD and you had 2 suicide attempts, you think I wanted to reach out to her, look for platforms? You think I wanted to reach out just for myself? No, I wanted to help, which is what I have now. And suffering from a traumatic brain injury, things look different for me than everybody else. So please don't put your experiences on me. But what I will say, encourage each other and speak up when things go wrong. Don't attack people for speaking up. Encourage people to speak up. You guys be blessed, but this stuff, we have to start taking care of each other and stop hurting each other.
Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is committing wire fraud, in my opinion.
Now, hold on now. Y'all know I try to have a wide range of viewpoints when we do these lives. When this lady said she's committed wire fraud, I said, now, hold on, baby. Now, I said, what now? What in the Wendy Osefo? Shout out to Wendy Osefo. What you mean wire fraud? So let's listen to this because this is probably one of the more unexpected takes that I've heard about this. Let's see what she has to say.
Drop the doctor or provide proof because what you're doing is wire fraud. And each instance is punishable by up to 20 years in federal prison.
Oh.
And an instance is not your website. It's not the one website and that's one count. Each time a person hires you because you induced them to by calling yourself a doctor and a psychology expert when you are neither of those things. Each time someone hired you is a count of wire fraud.
Boy. Okay. Cheyenne, just tell the people you're sorry, baby. Girl, I don't want to see. Okay, let's say you made everything up. Okay, I don't want to see any Black woman in this day and age be put in jail for an avoidable offense. Can you please just tell people that you're sorry and that this was all just a joke and that you and Nick Cannon and Cam Newton and Club Shay Shay were running a social experiment this entire time and have Drewski come down from the sky and say, psych, we were just joking. Please. I'm begging you, Cheyenne. If what this lady is saying is true and that lying about being a doctor and receiving funds for being a doctor could arguably be considered wire fraud. Can we have a lawyer check on that? Can we have a lawyer please check on that, please? Because that's crazy. And I'm not going to pretend I know anything about this. I'm just telling y'all to have a professional. You see how I know my place? I know my fucking place. I'm not a lawyer. Somebody have a lawyer check on that.
20 years each.
You cannot pay me to think that she does not know this. You have to constantly show that you are who you say you are in the field that she's in. And there's also a bunch of holes in her story as to why she can't show.
You guys are right. That's what Better Health did, and people and the government stepped in. Yes, in fact, I refused. I was told to have Better Health as a sponsor, and I refused. Better Health is they're the Dr. Bryant of mental health apps. So they are charlatans. If you know any creators who are shouting out Better Health as a sponsor, please tell them to cut that shit the fuck out.
Proof. So she claims she has a doctorate in counseling psychology from Argosy University. When you complete a doctorate, any doctorate, you are required.
Oh, the lady who said it is a lawyer. Well, shit, there we go. The lady who said it's wire fraud is a lawyer. Cheyenne, please stop. You're annoying right now on my feed, but I don't want you to go to jail, girl. You're going to be somebody's bottom bitch by Tuesday.
Hired to write a dissertation. Now, if you don't know, a dissertation is a massive research paper. People take years to finish this, y'all. This is not no light work, okay? It gets really, really difficult. A lot of people don't even finish, okay? This is not anything to play with. But it gets submitted into the National Public Database called ProQuest. Now, every dissertation from every accredited university in this country is in ProQuest. And it is searchable by anybody. You don't need a special login. You don't need to pay anything. You can just go on there, type in the person's name, and it's supposed to come up. So when people went looking for Cheyenne Bryant's dissertation, they found nothing. Now, mind you, she didn't just claim one doctorate degree, y'all. On Club Shay Shay, she claimed she had 3. So that means there should be 3 dissertations sitting in that public database. And people can't even find one. And anyone who actually graduated from that university can still request their transcripts.
Somebody just asked, Blue, are you doing Love Island US and UK? That's a good question. Ooh, that's a good question because Maya Jama, she's the host of Love Island UK for the Americans. For those who don't know, I'm an Anglophile. I've been watching British television since I was 7 years old. So I've been watching Love Island, the UK edition, way before the American one was even conceptualized. So I'm an OG Love Island fan. That's a good question. I'm wondering if I should do the Love Island UK in the members wall only. Like, should I do it as a members only offering since it's a more niche group? I don't know. I don't know. That's a good question. What do y'all think? Members, let me know. Should we do Love Island UK for the members only? Because since it's more niche, we'll see. We'll see.
The records don't just disappear like that, y'all, because the school closed. That's not how that works. That is very untrue. But let's be real for a second, because forget the transcripts, forget the records. Let's keep it simple, because this is very simple. If you have a doctorate, you have a physical piece of paper that they handed to you, that you take home, that lives in your house or at least your mama's house, okay? So where's the actual degree that she took home? Not only that, they have a ceremony. You walk across the stage. So you mean to tell me she don't have no pictures of her graduation day?
That's true. She went viral several weeks ago for wearing a see-through dress. We had 11 pictures, not 50-11, 11 pictures of her and the girls' night in Vegas seeing Jeezy in a see-through dress during a cocktail attire event. That shit was on the shape. It was everywhere. How do we have 80 pictures of you seeing Jeezy in Vegas, but we don't have a damn picture of you getting your doctorate? Bitch, I don't even know what to call it now because you don't know what to call it, right? How is a woman this attractive and this vain and this photogenic who loves posting herself have no pictures of her at graduation? I'm going to say this right now. If you have attended any of Dr. Bryant's graduations, please email me at bluecentricadmin@gmail.com. We will have you come on the show. Oh, I didn't do any plugs. You guys, the class, fall26.eventbrite.com. It's going against the bottom. I always forget to do the plug. We only have, let's see, before we continue with Dr. Bryant being a goddamn charlatan and a public fucking menace at this point, we have about, I think, 30% of the tickets left for the fall class. The fall class is the last class I'll be teaching for the entire year. Please do not hit me up by saying, Blue, can I take your class? No. After fall, we're not doing it again until end of January, top of February. So if you're thinking about joining the class, especially if you are someone who's on the East Coast, who has an earlier schedule, or who international, the Thursday classes still have a couple of tickets left, and that is fall26.eventbrite.com. Once again, fall26.eventbrite.com. And our very last family town hall, we're not doing any more until... We're probably not doing any more until next year, honestly. Our very last family town hall is going to be on Juneteenth. Yes, we're having a Juneteenth celebration. And the URL for that, I think, is freedom26.eventbrite.com. So freedom26.eventbrite.com. The tickets are like $30. I mean, I don't get $30 because, I have to pay a lot of taxes on all those tickets, but it's a very inexpensive ticket. We get together on Zoom and we talk about the shit that I can't talk about on live. Okay. It's like the members only area on steroids. Cause I say all the shit that I wouldn't even say on members only. So if you have not joined us for the Juneteenth yet, we still have tickets available freedom26.eventbrite.com. And if you still want to take the class, it's fall26.eventbrite.com. And guys, I am a coach, not a therapist. And I always say this, 40% of my clients are therapists. And I love the fact that even therapists, actual licensed therapists, know that they still have more to learn. That's why this shit is so weird to me. Coaches and therapists work so well together. We don't have to lie about being each other. Such a weird fucking flex, babe.
Not a graduation dinner, nothing.
Please go back and listen. She never said Argosy. She said Argus University.
Argus.
And so I had to look it up. What the heck is Argus? Well, once I found it, Google corrected it to Argosy. And I had to listen to her over and over and over and over and over again to realize she said Argus University. Listen closely and...
For those who are asking about better health, by the way, I think I'm allergic to kiwis, but I love the green ones at least. Yellow kiwis are amazing. New life hack. I've been fucking up yellow kiwis a lot lately. If you don't like kiwis, but you like fruit and you want more fiber, think about trying Sun Gold kiwis. They're delicious. So the allegations in broad strokes, I don't want to be derailed by this, was basically, and shout out to Anitra, that they were charlatans and grifters because they would have therapists on who didn't really give a fuck about you, would not answer you in real time, no sense of client-patient like confidentiality being adhered to properly. The way that they were doing business was shady. Their security, I think, had some breaches. It was a whole fucking mess. Imagine if a bunch of licensed therapists all joined Hinge and sometimes respond to you when they're bored. That's not the same thing as getting real help. And so a lot of influencers who were championing better health, it's like when you buy a wig, right? The influencer who has the wig, that shit is luxurious. You get a wig and it looks like pubic hair stuck to a weft, right? The product that was being sold to the influencers was superior to the product that was being sold to the general public, and they were not being handled with care. I hope that helps. And yes, golden kiwis are fucking delicious. I'm probably about to fuck them up some more during this live. So I'm going to apologize in advance. But yes, let's continue to talk about how this lady don't even know how to say her degree that she lied about and don't even know the name of the school.
Clearly and carefully listen. She said it so fast so no one picked up on it, but she said Argus University. That's how you know she lying.
So there's one person who's supposedly suing her in civil court because they thought they were going to go see a therapist, and she's not a therapist. So I think that lawsuit is probably on the way. This is allegedly.
And guys, guess who is her most famous ongoing client? Class, can anybody guess? And those of you who know, let us know if you know. Who do you think is Cheyenne Bryant? Who do you think is Cheyenne Bryant most high profile reoccurring client? Ray J. Ray J is reportedly a long-term client of Dr. Bryant, and we see how that worked out. Ray J. Yes, Ray J. And have we not been talking about how his mental health has been declining over the last couple of years? Have we not said, Ray J, we thought you almost got it together. What the fuck happened? Apparently, Cheyenne Bryant happened. For someone who says you don't need to be licensed to be effective, and I agree, because I'm unlicensed and effective, you can't in the next breath say that one of your most loyal clients is Ray J. Your results are not flexing the way that you are. But let's continue watching the video.
What I heard. The other one is that there was a woman of color who's a veteran who said that she booked a session with Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, went in, was told she's not a high value woman. She wasn't ready to hear that. She's suffering from PTSD.
Imagine telling a veteran who's suffering from PTSD that they're not a high value woman. You don't even need a license to know better. That's just basic fucking decorum.
She left the session very depressed and in a worse state of mind than she was before the session. So that's what she claimed online. Don't know if there's a lawsuit or not, but I find that intriguing because, hey, like I said before, she's doing a lot of harm to our community. We might not be able to see it right now, but I'm telling you, like, y'all already know, mental health is a big deal. And our community has suffered injustices for decades, for centuries. And we don't need someone playing with our minds and manipulating our minds in any type of negative way. So also, what else did I hear, y'all? Bear with me. Oh, I'm hearing that she might not have her master's or her bachelor's. That's what the receipts are saying.
Now, this is the part that I was like, now, hold on. First of all, let me look up the degree. Doctoral versus doctorate. Because I was like, maybe there's another degree that we don't know about. No, there isn't. Hold on. I'm not interested. There is no difference in meaning between doctorate and doctoral. They simply serve different grammatical roles. A doctorate is a noun, the degree itself. So it's a doctorate. The degree is a doctorate. Doctoral is an adjective used to describe things related to the degree. But there's no such word as doctoral. You had two options, a noun and an adjective. You chose neither. I'll take what's behind door number 3, Alice. I'll just make up my own shit. Vowels for you. You get a vowel. You get a vowel. So you took the Y off of a go-see because you didn't want to finish that word. And you gave that to doctorate and doctoral and slipped it in there instead. You just moving stuff around. You so innovative, girl. You are so innovative.
Someone in her bachelor's program said that, hey, I saw her in class. I used to see her around and all that, but I don't remember her ever graduating. And we are a small class, a small community, because her emphasis was in Pan-African studies. And it's
Pan-African studies means she might really sincerely be the female Dr. Umar.
a very small group of professors, small group of students. And I know that for a fact because when I was at Metro State, my emphasis was in African American studies. And I know I had Dr. White and I had Dr. Benson. So we had two main professors and we knew each other. We knew we knew other students. It was a very small community. So yeah, people are saying that, yeah, we knew her, but she never finished this program. We didn't see her actually walk and finish. So she might not even have her bachelor's, y'all. That's crazy to me.
Hi.
By the way, guys, I think I found her PhD.
It's me, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's PhD degree, and I am putting myself at risk even being here, but I'm here to say I'm sorry to the good doctor.
Look, y'all, I was like, we leaving here with something, okay? I'm determined to find this lady's PhD at this point, because what the fuck?
Because I'm too fast and too wanted to be found. That's right, I'm in the Federal Witness Protection Program, and I am in danger, and that is the only reason nobody can find me. And my two...
Oh, no, the school opened, Gia. He actually opened the school. Look it up. So it took him like 11 years, but he opened the school.
Cohorts, because as she said, she has 3 doctorates. I'm only one of them, but we are all on the run, and boy, are we fast. You cannot find us. You can't. And it isn't her fault. And that's why, again, I'm here. Dr. Bryant, I am so sorry, but I'm in danger. If they find me, that's the end of me. So just take...
I saw a video of Dr. Umar defending her that was blatant AI. It was like blatant AI, like very blatant AI. So be careful by saying that because the ones that I saw were all AI. I saw one video that I hope wasn't AI, but I didn't have time to vet it, where he was saying the opposite. So just be careful saying that he was defending her.
Take it from me, Dr. Bryant's PhD degree that is in the Federal Witness Protection Program and therefore cannot be found for my own physical safety. We are real. We exist. And there's several more of me where that came from. We are all on the run.
Titles doesn't make someone a leader. It doesn't at all.
This is Dr. Bryant and Melissa Ford, my former co-host, discussing how you don't need a title or a degree to be effective. Again, I agree with that general point. However, if you are someone who has any sort of intellectual integrity, you understand that the application of a valid point matters. This is not the right application.
It doesn't make you brilliant.
The whole time, it's like the fuck no.
It doesn't breed someone's results. You have many people, Oprah's one, Tyler Perry's another, who that are self-made. No education whatsoever.
Oh, hell no. Girl! No, girl!
Did she just say because Oprah and Tyler Perry don't have a doctoral, means that she don't need a doctoral? Capital I for I made it up. Somebody said, y'all be nice. Be nice. Yeah. But that's not how that works.
Past high school, no collegiate education, who have done beyond well.
Are you done? Are you done?
So she's saying, and y'all know where this is going. She's saying that because Oprah and Tyler Perry don't have degrees, she don't need one either. Got it. And that her effectiveness speaks for itself. We saw you having a debate with 3 men who couldn't debate. One of which we're not sure is literate. That's called punching down. You don't need to be. How is it effective that you were able to tell Nick Cannon the obvious and Cam Newton the obvious and Shannon Sharp the obvious? Being able to tell black men who think you're pretty the obvious without them calling you names because they think you're attractive is not being effective in helping the community. That's you going viral and helping your bottom dollar. Let's show how effective Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is, because again, if you are a therapist, that means you understand your nervous system needs to be regulated. You understand what it's like to be deregulated. You understand trauma responses. You understand decorum and tact. A certain level of social intelligence. You understand application. You understand implication, right? You understand that if you're on a platform and you're stating a personal opinion, that other people are allowed to have their own personal opinions, and you're allowed to have a disagreement without it being adversarial or demeaning. Yes? Somewhere in you getting a doctoral, capital I, because I made it up. Somewhere in between you getting that doctoral, you made up your own degree class, yes? Because I've never heard of a doctoral before. There is supposed to be some sort of training around discipline, social discipline, because a therapist has to be a professional listener. Did y'all hear what I said as somebody who was going to be a therapist, decided to be a coach, and didn't lie about any of it? A therapist is a professional listener, which means it's their job to intake data, process it, and let people speak and then give their feedback. They are trained in this. I have been on dates with people when they've been like, Blue, you're doing the therapist thing because you haven't talked in 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm just actively listening. I want to make sure I'm present for you. The fact that what I do on a date with a nigga I'm not even sure I like, Doctoral Bryant couldn't do with Touré, and y'all know I'm not the biggest Touré fan. I think Touré gets it wrong more than he gets it right lately. He had a legacy in the 90s and early 2000s that was amazing. It has now been diminished by some of his troubling rhetoric. He also replaced me at the grill, so I'm not even gonna lie. There's some personal grievance there. When I left the grill, he got my check and did not get my fucking clicks. Did not go viral the way I did. I'm just gonna say that. Bad investment, huh? Funny, huh? I'm still viral and he's whatever. Anyways, I'm not the biggest Touré fan, right? For professional and personal reasons. And though, however, comma, girl, you basically called this man a bitch after you interrupted him. Let's watch the clip. I know you guys have all seen it by now.
Are you done?
Only externally, but internally, what they
The conversation for those who are the 40% who don't know what's happening, because we always say 60% of you know what's happening, 40% just come here for the vibes and to learn. Dr. Bryant is on a panel with Touré and 2 other panelists. It's an ongoing show. It's not an appearance. I've heard that this is an ongoing show that they had. And in the show, they're discussing corporal punishment and should you whoop your kids? And Touré saying, I don't think in this day and age you need to spank children. And Dr. Bryant's like, no, whoop that trick. Whoop their ass. Whoop their ass. And Touré's like, well, I don't think gentle parenting sucks if you do it correctly, because we could use more gentle men. Like men in particular have not done well. Black men in particular have not done well from getting their ass beat by their mammies and their pappies, and they're emotionally stunted. Maybe being gentler with them as young boys will help them be more emotionally intelligent men. Doctoral Bryant responds by, That's some bullshit. And I could tell because you a little bitch yourself that you a gentleman. Like, it went left so. And when he said, yo, why are you interrupting me? I'm trying to close the show. She said, watch your fucking mouth. I think she wanted to call him the N-word. I think she called him everything but the N-word. Let's just watch the clip.
Do carry at the nucleus of who they are is discipline and boundaries.
If gentle parenting creates gentle children, sign me up. I definitely want to create more gentle adults, especially.
By the way, the association, like every association that stands behind licensed therapists, have the complete opposite view of what she's advocating for. I know therapists who might personally tap their children on the bum who would never, because there's checks and balances, publicly say this. This is a perfect example of what happens when there is no gogoverning board.
Men, hold on, everybody, especially men.
You are
My
a
God, are you kidding? Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. That's what we need in the world.
Do you see how she spoke uninterrupted? And when he tried to give a counterpoint, she immediately started interrupting him and saying, well, you're a very gentle man, so of course you would take that. You see how she's not even letting him speak. A therapist is a professional listener. If you won't listen to a equal, and to be honest, I'm being kind by calling him your equal because as far as the social zeitgeist goes, Teray has much more clout than you do, right? If you're listening to an equal on a panel and can't even stop to let him finish a counterpoint, what are you doing privately with people who have PTSD or complex PTSD or who have some sort of anxiety disorder who are opening up to you about their feelings? If you can't even bring your hubris down to listen to a fellow panelist with financial and social incentive to shut the fuck up, you have financial and social incentive to shut the fuck up, and you still about to call this man a bitch on camera. What are you doing with people who are not your equal socially and who are in dire straits needing compassionate care? This is why this bitch is harmful.
It's more gentle men who understand.
You're very gentle, and it comes at an angle that doesn't always work for people.
Let's just stop and go back. I'm wrapping the show, and you're interrupting me.
First of all,
this is what we spent a whole meeting on this.
First of all, Teray,
why don't you let me wrap the show? I'm ending the show.
First of all, Teray,
we're getting out of here. Like, what is the point? What is the point? It says go to host up.
When you're talking to me, lower your fucking voice.
Lower your fucking voice when you're talking to me. The man said, hold on. You see me reading the cue for us to wrap up. Why are you trying to argue with me when all of us know that I'm wrapping up the show? And her response to him making a valid point is, lower your fucking voice when you're talking to me, my nigga. Amanda, is this the non-harmful? Is the non-harmful in the room with us? Is the not causing harm in the room with us?
Talking to me because you're acting very, very gentle, very soft, and very feminine. And this
you're acting very gentle, very soft, and very feminine. What do you think happens when a couple comes to her and the man is grappling to be open with his wife about his feelings and his fear of intimacy because he doesn't want to be called a bitch, knowing that his therapist will call you a bitch on camera? Mind you, I don't even like Teray, and I'm on his side right now.
It's over.
Teray, you talk to your wife like that. You don't talk to me like that. That is not how you professionally approach me. Don't fucking talk.
That's not how you professionally approach me. Don't fucking talk to me. How do you say that's not how you professionally approach me and then say don't fucking talk to me like that right afterwards and don't see the deep irony in that? This bitch is satire. This is an SNL skit. She's her own. SNL cannot do a skit of her because she's her own walking SNL skit.
Talk to me like that. Shut the fuck up talking to me like that.
I know Teray from the heady days of 90s hip-hop journalism, and he was always a pretty astute dude, so it shocks me that he allowed himself to be surprised at bringing in Cheyenne Bryant, expecting Dr. Jekyll. Yeah, Mrs. Hyde may just show up, and that's who did.
Sure, I'm saying, but let's say I do realize it, and you're licensed. You're saying I can call somebody.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're not.
So Mark Lamont Hill, I wanted to make a point because the last time that I talked about Dr. Bryant in broad strokes during our Friday Night Live, you guys mentioned that this interview had happened. I wanted to listen to y'all because again, I'm not above reproach. I wanted to listen to you guys and watch the clip and watch all the clips and see what they spoke about. It was a great conversation. You guys were right. Dr. Martin was a little bit more open to the value of being a coach in this discourse than she was in some of those clips that I found off-putting on her social media page. So yay for that, Dr. Martin. I love that you could do that because, again, an intellectual has the ability to course correct when they misstep and get new information. Yes, that's a true intellectual, not a doctoral hard eye. Yes. So let's watch this little clip of their conversation.
I can't call anybody. That feels like an out. It's like if I were a restaurant owner and I decide, well, I'm not with the Better Business Bureau. It's like, or I'm not with the health department. Like, don't you have to sign up with these people?
Not if you're licensed, yes, that's part of like who you're licensed with. But if say you're a coach, you can decide to, like, there are some ways that you can be certified, but you don't have to. Like, anyone can state that they're a coach. Anyone can't state that you're a licensed mental health professional.
I get it. So if I'm a mental health professional, I have to be licensed. I can't opt out. But if I use the word life coach, I can, or career coach or relationship coach, that's the workaround. The workaround is just saying you're not that thing. You give it, name it to something else.
Yeah, there's no regulatory body on coaching. People can take the there are like certain ways that it's not certified, but like there's like the International Coaching Federation and there's a National Board of Health.
By the way, I looked into getting a coaching certificate, and everything that they were teaching was I was about 10, 12 years into my career. And I said, I wonder if I could get a coaching certificate just so I could get me a cute piece of paper and quantify. And they were like, you're above what we teach. This is not a flex on me being Dr. Bryant. What they teach in coaching to be certified is better suited for newer or intermediate coaches. I was so deep into my career by the time I even looked into it, there was no value because there was nothing I could learn. I would have been doing it just for the piece of paper. And mind you, there's nothing wrong with that. If I was somebody who thought a coaching certificate would make me feel better, sure. But I actually like to learn. I was like, I'm not paying y'all for a piece of paper. I'm not learning shit. So they didn't have anything to teach me that I found valuable that I had not already learned. In fact, a lot of times when people who have been doing the kind of work that I do for 20 plus years go back to school, they will give you credits for time served in the field. That's the irony. Dr. Bryant says that she's been doing this allegedly for 17 years. Okay. While also running for mayor. Let me not judge. If she really had been doing this for 17 years and could prove her effectiveness in the community, she could actually get her doctoral with an I and have some credits already put towards that because of time served in the field. That's what's killing me is if you really are who you say you are, it would not be difficult for you to actually become a licensed therapist again, unless you just never had it.
Health and wellness and coaching, you can decide to go through that like credentialing ecosystem, but it's voluntary.
For those who are talking about running for mayor, we will be getting to that.
You can just decide that like, I'm really good at problem solving. I problem solve my problems. I problem solve my husband's problems. I
often tell you guys that on the internet, you could be the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. You could be whatever you want if you're charismatic enough to draw an audience. Man, the internet is so easy today for certain people. You don't even have to show your face to make a lot of money. And if you look like something, if you got a pretty face, you show a little bit of boob, wear a short skirt or show some legs. Oh man, you become an internet sensation.
Yeah, she also claimed that she was trying to be a law professor. How are you going to be a law professor? When did you become a lawyer?
Overnight, you'll have a whole bunch of men and women donating money to you, mesmerized by your beauty, listening to whatever you got to say. That's just what the internet has turned into. They don't care about the information as long as you sound good or look good, right? Or give a perception, right? Or give a perception that they can envision or.
By the way, guys, I mentioned that cue was so good. I mentioned last week that I don't think it's just pretty privilege that's working in her favor. I think it's prosperity privilege. To his point, right now when everybody's struggling, anybody, whether they're pretty or not, conventionally attractive or not, anyone who has the perception that they have figured out anything right now and who is not struggling is going to have some sort of privilege and be seen as a potential guru. Because nobody can figure out anything. Anybody who can figure out anything immediately has an opportunity to potentially be seen as a tastemaker or a professional or an expert in a field that they're not suited for. So just be really, really, really careful that social media has opened up our minds as far as educating us about things that we would never would have known about otherwise. It's also made a lot of us slaves to optics.
Dream about, man, you become rich.
You know what the real problem is?
Now, Judge Brown. Y'all know Judge Brown is problematic, so I'm about to warn you right now that what he's about to say is deeply fucking offensive. But what he's about to say is so easy to disprove. I wanted him to have time to cook so I could, right after that, do a fact check on what he's saying.
One of them is drop dead gorgeous and the other one's ugly, and she really needs to ditch those white glasses.
He said the problem is one of them is drop dead gorgeous and the other one is fucking ugly and needs to get rid of those white glasses. That is Judge Joe's professional opinion as a judge. Raquel Martin is not ugly. She's not conventionally attractive because that's a very myopic lens on beauty, but she's not ugly. That's fucked up.
Looks like a space cadet. But anyway, bottom line is I've known Dr. Bryant for a very long time. She got an undergrad degree at 19 years old. She quickly wound up getting a master's and PhD in psychology. She was licensed at one time. She surrendered the license because a lot of what she did was controversial. She
Mind you, he's reading off a resume that she told him. Whenever y'all speak from a place of authority, always rely on asking yourself, who am I citing as a source? Of course, she told you all that. And can we just check this for a second? The fact that a black man who is in a position of power as a public figure, who has millions of people who know his name, is using his platform and his social currency to disparage the appearance of your opponent tells me everything about how crazy y'all are talking about Dr. Martin behind her back. This being your homeboy, if he's talking about her like this and feels comfortable, like I can just imagine the shit that y'all talk behind people's back.
ran for Congress, almost got elected. She
ran for Congress and almost got elected. Ran for Congress? Thank you. Y'all see why I had no choice but to come back, because this is bigger than what I thought it was. Ran for Congress, almost got elected. Applied to be a law professor, but never went to law school. And the whole time, you might not even have a fucking regular ass bachelor's. And there's nothing regular about a bachelor's. I'm saying that a bachelor's is considered the bare minimum to say you're college educated, right? That you're a college graduate. So the opportunity that there might be a world where Dr. Cheyenne Bryant did not even get her bachelor's, but is purporting to have 3 of every degree that's ever been made. The disparity between the truth and what she's saying, the gap is such a wide chasm. I fear that the irony is a licensed therapist might need to at some point diagnose her. That's the biggest irony in all of this. Is that a licensed therapist, you know, the one that went to our go-see with the Y at the end and not the one that she made up, might actually need to diagnose her someday.
runs one of the few effective NAACP chapters in America that isn't off into that stuck on stupid thing. She also set up a thing with the LA Unified School District that deals with the assessment of race in the school system. She set up a thing with Los Angeles Police Department where she was evaluating the police officers on a regular basis to determine their fitness to continue to be armed in public.
2 black people running.
So this is the clip, guys. For those who are like, well, when did she say that she, that was a kiwi burp, but it was delightful because yellow kiwis are delightful. Ooh, not me having a cute burp, sorry. This is the clip of Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, alleged Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, explaining to her panelists how she allowed Karen Bass to win by recusing herself from the race in California because she did not want to divest the vote and take votes away from her. And so the only reason that Karen Bass is an elected official is because Dr. Cheyenne Bryant decided to recuse herself. Oh, how nice of you.
Because I did this with Los Angeles. I was running for LA mayor. And then I seen our mayor, Karen Bass, come in as a candidate. And she was running against a white male, a Republican, and it was neck to neck. And I knew that had I stayed in the race, neither one of us would have ran because 2 black people will split the vote. Yeah. So what I'm saying, right, Mark? So what I'm saying is I pulled out so that Karen could win. Right. And she barely won, like Mark is saying, I'm talking about by a needle. here. Had I even took 200 of her votes, then she wouldn't have won. So I think that Cornell needs to pull back if we want Kamala to win, because he's going to take her votes. He's still black. So
12. That's how many people actually qualified for the 2022 LA mayoral ballot.
This is a fact check, guys, because unlike Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, I live in a world where I would like to sleep at night and not worry that a simple Google search could show that I'm full of shit. And you see how I can be effective doing that without a doctoral? You see how you don't have to lie about. The irony is that speech she made talking to Melissa is the point of contention that many of us have is, you're right. You didn't have to lie about being a doctor to be effective. So why are we here? We agree with you, bitch. Now what? Why are we here?
27 filed paperwork to even try to run, and Ms. Cheyenne Bryant was not one of them. I'm Tanya McKenzie, Chair of the LA County Commissioner on Alcohol and Other Drugs, and
Chair of the LA County Commissioner. I need you to understand who is doing this fact check. There was a group of 12 and a group of 27. Cheyenne Bryant was in neither group. In neither group. Okay, let's listen.
I keep getting asked if Ms. Cheyenne Bryant ran for mayor of LA. And the answer is no. She campaigned, but there's a difference. Let me explain. There was a website. It's actually still up. There was a banner. There was a Dr. Cheyenne Bryant for LA Mayor 2022 branding. There was some community events, photo ops, the whole production. What there wasn't was a nomination papers filed.
So wait a minute, let me get this straight. She got the t-shirts and the trademark and the website and the outfits, but didn't actually file any paperwork. Y'all seen a pattern or nah? Cheyenne Bryant got Cheyenne Bryant for Mayor 2022 t-shirts and a website and campaign bumper stickers, but didn't actually file to run. Just the optics, beautiful gowns. Y'all not seeing a pattern? In the same way, she filed a trademark for Dr. Bryant, but just didn't bother to become a doctor first. It's almost like a leopard doesn't change its spots. It just changes its lace front. It's almost like she's a grifter who's going to keep on grifting because she's cute and we think it's funny until her former patients who have complex PTSD, who are former veterans, who came to her with suicidal ideation, are now tearfully sharing that she caused them harm because she didn't have the training to handle them with care. And they're being told to shut the fuck up because they're just haters because she's pretty and they're not. Y'all don't see the harm in this? You don't see the harm in that, Amanda?
There was no candidate statement filed. There was nothing sent to the LA city clerk.
Nope.
So there's that. Her name never hit a ballot. She never made a qualified candidates list. She never showed up on Ballotopia, Wikipedia, or the LA Times Roundup. None of those things happened. But the website is still up. You can go check it out. It still says for LA Mayor 2022. It still reads like a campaign is in progress 3 years later. And that right there is why people are in my DMs asking me if she actually ran for mayor. Because in 2026, a Canva graphic and a confident caption will rewrite history. People don't fact check things. They just screenshot and keep it pushing. So let me be clear with all of you. Announcing a run, building a site, and showing up at a community event is marketing. Yep. Filing with the city clerk is running. One is a brand and the other is a ballot. Know the difference, especially before you put it on someone's bio.
This is how you know she really don't have a degree, right?
So guys, you know I had to look it up, right? You know I had to. Y'all know I had to. Bitch. The website is still up, bitch. I'm beside myself. I'm beside myself. All brand, no ballot. All brand, no fucking ballot. Baby, you paid for a background and some accompanying balayage in your hair, but not a ballot. You got your lace front balayage, but didn't think to file the paperwork to be on a ballot? But according to you in the clip we just saw, you saw that you was about to confuse the voters, so that's why you let Karen Bass have it. You let her have it. Baby, Karma's about to let you have it if you don't stop. I'm so nervous for this lady. When I tell you, I don't mean this lady no harm. I actually want her to get out of her own way. The way this is going to have to come to a conclusion is going to be tantamount to Icarus. For all of you who know about Greek mythology, you know Icarus when he flew too close to the sun and he melted? Baby, you flying too close to the sun. You probably don't even know who the fuck Icarus is. Let me stop, child. Because I learned about that in school. I'm not sure you've ever been.
Because at this point, now it's no longer about proving your degree to the general public, proving your degree to the naysayers. Now, your not having a degree is going to cause a problem for them good white folks.
Yep.
And what I mean by those good white folks is your book publisher.
By the way, I do feel like Cheyenne Bryant would happen if Joanne the scammer wasn't in on the joke and took that shit serious. It is giving almost impressive levels of grifting. I don't think I've seen anybody be this audacious in a while.
So here is the gag. In order to keep them from having to refund money and their credibility being called into question or whatever legal liability may rest on them for publishing the book, hands down, they are going to put downward pressure on you to show your degree. Yep. And if you are so in your ego to the point where you would refuse to show your degree to your publisher because you don't want to look like you gave in to the people, we know that's some bullshit.
Yeah.
See, now that your money about to get messed with, compromised, and you won't show your degree, that's further proof that you won't have one. Additionally,
Oh, no, oh, there we go.
All of those certificates that you got on that wall behind you are indicative of the fact that you are normal just like the rest of us, and you love to show off your accolades.
Yep.
Why your degree not back there?
Doc Squad. And we are already on the freaking bestsellers list.
You guys, I looked there. I did not see a bestsellers list. What list, baby? It wasn't the New York Times. It wasn't Goodreads. Was it Amazon? So Dr. Bryant, in the middle of all this, is claiming, Cheyenne, girl. Shy. Yeah? Shy is claiming that she's on the bestsellers list, but here's what's happening in the real life, because we know that she has her own version of reality.
So they are pulling Dr. Cheyenne Bryant's books, and they are refunding people's money for buying those books. And now I think it's gotten to the point where if she truly does have she says she has 6 degrees, 3 doctorates. If you have at least 1 doctorate, you need to show your credentials right now, girl. It's the time.
I believe that Dr. Cheyenne Bryant is quite possibly the same personality type as Nick Cannon and Cam Newton. I believe that all 3 of you are serial monogamists with narcissistic tendencies. First of all, serial monogamy and narcissism go together. The narcissist, grandiosity, too important to commit one's emotional resources, to not want to invest emotionally. When I look at
the reason why I have Dr. Umar talking is because Dr. Cheyenne Bryant, that whole archetype panders to manosphere, Black men, prideful Black men, and she panders to them in a way that is like covert pick-me-ism, and she centers their gaze a lot. G-A-Z-E, gaze, right? So because she centers the Black male gaze, and she at least started to go to school for Pan-African studies, this is exactly the kind of person who calling her out might fuck with her brain a little bit, right? When you are dealing with somebody who actually is narcissistic or a narcissist, but I can't diagnose, so that's why I'm saying ick, because the IC makes it a character trait, not a diagnosis. Narcissistic people sometimes experience something called narcissistic collapse, where shit gets too real. They're pushed in the corner so far that even they have to call bullshit on themselves. If there was anybody who might help her call bullshit on herself, it would be Black men divesting from her because they're her core audience.
Had a woman that beautiful without a child. The marriage I can understand is slim pickings for sisters. That beautiful without a child, that was deliberate. And I believe that she may be an example of one of our sisters who says they're waiting for the right one, but may not necessarily be waiting for anyone at all. But because it's expected of me as a Black woman to get married, I need to have a justification for why I am not.
I thought I was done talking about this Dr. Cheyenne exam. And
so for the sake of time, we're going to have to skip these and go to the very end because it's 40 past the hour. Jasmine had a response from Jasmine's Garden. I'm going to end with Jasmine's response, but before Jasmine has I'm going to let Jasmine have a response. Then I'm going to show you what Dr. Bryant had to say to all of us. Some of you have already said.
7:53 this morning before I could have my first joint, and I said, unfortunately, God, I'm going to share my thoughts with the people today. Okay. What is it that Amanda Seales and Madam Fraud, Fakey, Fufu, Boo Boo, last name the fucking fool Cheyenne Bryant have in common? Well,
okay. First of all, guys, I have not seen this. So we're all watching this together. I literally just grabbed this clip as I was sitting down. So we're about to watch this together. Okay, let's go.
Amanda Seales is self-diagnosed and Cheyenne Bryant is self-decorated in a bunch of doctoral degrees that do not exist. So off bat, we have unregulated and unqualified women buying into the same type of bypassing, hyping each other up like, yes, bitch. My issue with you, Amanda, is that you are intelligent. You have multiple degrees. Up until this morning, we were still mutuals because I followed you 4 to 5 years ago because I appreciated the way in which you approached conversations, even through your frustration and exhaustion from being frustrated. You approached conversations that I felt were very hard to talk about, even if I didn't always agree with the angle that you came from. I appreciated that you held room and space for the conversation to be had.
Do you see how so many of us extend so much grace to Amanda Seales that she will never admit has been extended? She's convinced that Black women, particularly dark-skinned Black women, just have a unilateral hatred of her. Whenever you listen to any intellectual Black woman of a certain hue talk about Amanda, you see how hard they are working to stay in community with her, even while she's not trying to be in community with us. Just want to point that out. Because I haven't seen Jasmine's response, but it's not lost on me that she's going through the same process that you watched me go through at the beginning of this live.
The issue now is that you won't heal whatever this bitter wound is. This wound that makes you think everybody has wronged you, nobody understands you. I've heard you talk about your pattern recognition so many fucking times, and I just have this question. If we sometimes miss social cues because we're autistic, how do you always understand what everybody else fucking means and how everybody else is intending something to come across? But everybody else is always misunderstanding your intention and the way in which you're coming across. At what point in our pattern recognition do we pick up on the pattern that we might be a bitch? At what point in the pattern recognition do we pick up on the pattern that maybe we're using our autism as a mask to disguise the fact that we like being an asshole sometimes because we are frustrated and
I said the same thing in 2024 and Amanda Seales blocked me. Oh my God, Jasmine, we are kindred. I said the same thing in 2024 and I got blocked for it.
Exhausted with being intelligent and having ideas that people don't want to listen to because maybe it's not the most intelligent idea in the room. You grew up in the 80s in Florida going to school amongst a bunch of white people, and you still have not in your mind graduated to understanding that you're in a bigger class called life with more Black people that are in fact smarter than you, so you don't have all the answers.
I don't think Amanda can conceive of, or even Cheyenne Bryant can conceive of, that some of the people critiquing them might actually be more advanced than them in some way. There's different types of intelligence, right? Perfect example, I have a very high IQ. I can't read a map, right? Just because my IQ is very high and I have a very strong understanding of language and pattern recognition and numbers, I still have blind spots, right? So you could quite literally be tested in the top 5% of intellect and still have glaring blind spots and things to learn from people. And I'm saying that to say there is no way to quantify that you are this omnipotent God, even the smartest bitch, there's somebody smarter than you in the room. And also, if you're the smartest bitch in the room, you're in the wrong room, because why are you in there? I don't want to be in a room where I can't learn shit. I'm bored now. I got ADHD. Why am I in here? Ugh. People like this who are so intellectually superior, but character-wise, integrity-wise, social-wise, they're stunted, and they think that one good thing makes up for all the places that they fail. They are frustrating to me because you were gifted with the hard shit, and you're refusing to do the things that everybody else has to do. You were gifted with the hard shit. The things that people wish they had, you were born with. God gave that to you. But the regular mundane things that create community are the very things that you are resistant to. That is just hubris. That is not autism. Sorry, I got mad.
And sometimes your approach is in fact wrong. So that day I was scrolling and I saw you on live and I heard you come out of your own mouth and say that you weren't going to pay to get diagnosed with autism because you know, and that's all that matters now. I realized you are scared to sit in the chair of somebody that's fucking qualified because you don't want to find out that people may have been right about you. Not as a whole, but based off situation and circumstance. But are they right about you if you keep reinforcing the thing that they were calling you out for? If you are so healed, because you said on Shannon Sharp that you know you've been toxic, if we are so healed, then our actions should be different. We should be showing up differently, and you're not. You are consistently showing up in a way that makes you unrecognizable to those of us that have loved you, respected you, and defended you. For Madam Fraud, Fakey Fufu Boo Boo, last name's a fucking fool, Cheyenne Bryant. You got on that show and defended that causing children pain by putting your hands on them, physical violence, hitting them, popping them, is not abuse, but instead discipline. I want to know, when you get popped in the mouth, you know, not because people are abusing you, but because they love you and they have to show you that you were wrong, so they're disciplining you. How do you as an adult regulate? Or have you not been popped in the mouth as an adult?
You don't regulate. You tell Teray to shut the fuck up. You don't regulate. You tell Teray, a grown-ass man who was supposed to be wrapping up the show, to shut the fuck up when he's talking to you.
Because I think we might need to put this one to test and trial. You don't know the difference between gentle parenting and permissive parenting. If gentle parents are raising gentle children, they're gentle because they understand the boundaries that you say gentle parenting and gentle children don't fucking have. If you tell a child, gentle with the puppy, they know to slow down and soften their movements and be more gentle because the parents have explained if you're too rough with the dog may bite your ass. So the children learn a boundary. So when you have gentle adults, when you have gentle people that parent their kids, it's because they understand there is a certain boundary that cannot be crossed when trying to discipline, when trying to educate for the sake of keeping that child open and making sure that everybody stays emotionally regulated.
And here, you guys, I think that's the point. The reason why Cheyenne Bryant doesn't believe in gentle parenting, because she doesn't even know how to gentle parent herself. The fact that an unlicensed healed person has so much to teach someone who's lying about being a doctor is scary. I am scared for the doc squad, right? Shout out to the Blue Crew. I love y'all. I'm scared for the doc squad because in the midst of all this loving, fair, sometimes passionate and scathing critique that is a lot of times very valid and nuanced, her response, Dr. Bryant's response, I'm going to have to mute it because it has music playing. You guys, if you have not heard Cardi B's song, Pretty and Petty as Fuck, I'll have to sing it for you because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But this was Dr. Bryant's response to all of us. The caption said, y'all still talking? And on top of the y'all still talking, she posted this video. I'm pretty and I'm petty as fuck. I'm going to sing it. I'm pretty and I'm petty as fuck. I'm pretty and I'm petty as fuck. And then she's making sure that we can see how flat her stomach is. I'm pretty and I'm petty as fuck. Yes, I'm pretty and I'm petty as fuck. This is her response. This is doctorial, hard-eyed, because I made it up. This is doctoral candidate. The president of Narnia ran for mayor. Okay, she ran for mayor in the never-ending story and almost won, but let Karen Bass have it. Okay, this is her response. I'm pretty and I'm petty as fuck. Y'all done talking? You know what, Dr. Cheyenne Bryant? Sorry, doctoral Cheyenne Bryant. You're right. I am done talking. That concludes our live, guys. I got to head to Carlos's show. Blue Crew, if you meet me over there, go to Carlos King's page. Shout yourselves out. Let me know that you're in the room. I'm going to grab a quick drink, and then I'll see y'all in 10 minutes over there. And I'm traveling this week, but I will be having a pre-taped video for y'all. I may or may not have discovered the next Danish Deception. There's a Danish Deception-like video that I'm going to be watching and posting sometime this week for y'all, and I cannot wait to hear your feedback because what the fuck? We thought Anyeka was the end of it. There's a whole new grifter in town. Somebody said, ill. I know, right? All right, I love you guys. Please make sure you like the live, and if you want to have the comment during the replay, because you guys know I love it when you guys comment during the replay, the comment for those who made it to the end, that's how I know you watched it in the video, is you ain't got a lot of kick it, shy. Okay? You ain't got a lot of kick it, shy, okay? Lied for no fucking reason. All right, love you, family. Bye. Like the live. Don't forget to like the live.